Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5 a.m. club. It's Saturday afternoon. I've finished work and I'm up here at the Opera House. I just was down at the Opera House bar actually and had my weekly cocktail. One of the things that I've promised myself during 2021 is to enjoy a different cocktail from a different location every week, and to go on a journey throughout the year and celebrate the year with weekly cocktails. So the weather's improved. This morning it was overcast, it was raining, it rained all morning, but as you can see now, the cloud has lifted in most areas, the breeze has picked up, the sun has come out, and Sydney Harbour, Circular Quay, is bathed in beautiful sunlight. As you can see it shining off the Opera House. Anyway, that music is great. Can you hear that music in the background? It's taking me back to the 80s, back to my youth, back to the days where life was different. I was single, I was free as a bird, and had places to go and things to do. The good thing is, nothing much has changed in terms of places to go and things to do. The only beautiful thing is, in addition to that, is that I'm married, I've got children, grandchildren, and life just goes on and on, thank God, so that we still have our health and continue to make the most of what we've got available to us. Anyway, today what I want to do is step through another book summary, and the book summary is called The Third Wave by Stephen Case, and it talks about the megatrends, those big trends that are evolving in our everyday life, that are going to shape our future. And the book is based on one of the previous great books of our time by Alvin Toffler, where he talked about the changes in mankind. Whereas when he talked about the changes, he talked about the phases of mankind, going from hunter and gatherer to the industrial age, and now we're in the information age, where knowledge is more valuable than any particular thing. But this book here that we're going through today, The Third Wave, is going to focus on and talk about the technologies that we have in our era at the moment, and how those technologies are setting a framework for how we're going to live our future and how we're going to best do what we have to do and gain what we have to gain. It just goes to show that some of the best books of all time are timeless. Alvin Toffler with his books, or his book, showed a lot of foresight and got people thinking about the future as opposed to focusing on the past. So let's just go through this book at the moment that we've got, The Third Wave by Steve Case, and see where it leads us. And as I've said, I've had a cocktail. I'm cruising, just like some of those ferry boats out there, and I feel very good indeed. So the first thing that we need to acknowledge is the internet, and the connected world has really changed the way people interface and get things done. And with the internet, the waves, the third wave, or the waves that come into our future, will come much faster than any previous generation has ever experienced, and they're going to be far more disruptive. So it's important for all of us to understand that, to appreciate it, and to welcome it, because it's not going to go away. You can't just bury your head in the sand. You can't disconnect from Facebook or social media and not be punished severely into your future. And the reason for this is that the first point that comes out of this book, entitled The Third Wave, is that everything, and I mean everything, is going to be online. Whilst the 90s was the dawn of the internet, 2000 was the dawn of Google and smartphones. Today, everything is going to be connected, permanently connected. And I remember, and I've said this before, but back in the 80s, or early 90s should I say, when I left IBM, I went to an interview with Microsoft back in the day. And I remember before that interview, I read a book on Bill Gates. And Bill Gates, in his book, back in the 90s, as far as back in the 90s, foretold what we were going to experience and achieve in the world today. He talked about people being online, connected via a device, continually connected and being able to communicate with each other and with people all over the world. And I remember reading the book back then in preparation for the number of interviews that I had at Microsoft, and just said, this is all bullshit. But looking back with the power of hindsight, it's very, very real that we are now enslaved to our smartphones, to our devices. We are connected to each other. I am connected globally to lots of people, as many people as I need, and I can communicate and connect and exchange information and data and meaning with them at the drop of a hat. It's happening instantaneously, just as we speak, just as this live video is enabling me to spread the word and be in a lot of places at the same time, and it costs me absolutely nothing. So the second point which comes out of this wonderful book is a wake-up call, and we're invited to understand that we need to be okay with big, sudden changes and be willing to even disrupt ourselves in the third wave, because the possibilities, what is growing and coming with 5G, 6G and all the other Gs that come after this, even though there are a lot of people who suggest silly things about 5G, the benefits that 5G and technology bring far outweigh tenfold, megafold, 100-fold any of the potential issues, dangers, or things that people dream up in terms of what 5G and technology does to people. And once again, let me just remind you, and I'm very firm on this, as the author is very firm, you cannot disconnect from the connected world, because if you do disconnect, then you basically disappear and you become irrelevant. So the lesson, the message to everybody is to embrace technology and learn to disrupt yourself so that you can get as much out of this technology as what is possible. Because if you're not getting the benefits, I'm telling you now, the future generations will be, and you'll be left high and dry, isolated, and very, very lonely. So the author talks here that old solutions will become obsolete very, very quickly. So the way you used to do things, the way we used to do things, everything will change. Everything will become different, very different. So don't spend too much time, too much energy, too much effort trying to be busy, trying to maintain the status quo, else you'll be taken down with it. You need to learn to release the past, release yourself, and enable yourself to go with the flow and go with the current, because swimming against the current is a waste of time. John Deere, as an example, the producer of tractors, has embraced technology and has seen the future. And they're building tractors which are self-drive, both self-drive tractors and harvesters, which are directed and powered by the GPS. And farmers and people on the land are able to farm their land while sitting in their homestead, playing with their device and shaping their paddocks from their devices. So on the topic of self-disruption that we talked about, one of the hardest things in the world is to self-disrupt yourself, because it means coming out of your comfort zone. And it's hard to accept and even harder to embrace. But the people who embrace it, the people who take it on board, and the people who are willing to take the ride are the ones who are going to improve and gain the greatest benefits. Because we need to learn how to surf these waves as opposed to jumping over them or under them. Use them. Go for the ride. Make the most of it while it's available. Learn how to become more connected. Learn how to become more relevant. Don't fight it. Use it. Surf it. And with each wave and with each piece of technology, just like Apple said goodbye to the iPod, the iPhone was the next generation which came in, which was 100 times more productive and powerful than the iPhone. So it just goes to show that we need to let go of the past and embrace the future, because the benefits outweigh the pain and suffering. And it also means that we need to abandon our worldview from one day to the next, and we need to start doubting everything you know, but also embracing change and letting disruption happen, because it's the only way to thrive in the third wave, according to the author. So some powerful lessons there, some powerful messages, and things which should not be ignored if you want to survive and thrive and grow and develop and be a participant in the future, as opposed to a spectator who is just wondering what happened and how did I miss the boat. So the future is going to be a cooperation with, so in order to make the most of the third wave, the author's saying here that there needs to be a cooperation and a co-development with successful second wave companies that will help technologies and third wave companies succeed. And the disruptions and the powerful disruptions and the creative disruptions will happen through partnerships. The winners of tomorrow, according to this author, must be willing to partner with the winners of yesterday. Just like Apple in the past coupled up and partnered with record labels, just like Google partnered with Yahoo, so too tomorrow's organisations, tomorrow's winners are going to need to partner with organisations who are successful today. And the bottom line is that the future is going to be very different. If we come back in 100 years and look at how we've evolved and what we've turned into, for most of us, just like our great-grandparents' generation, will be in disbelief, because because our world and tomorrow's world are going to be very, very different, but beautifully different. So a lot of people live in the past and with nostalgia look at the past, but you've got to realise that the past will never come back. The things that we glorify, and people do tend to glorify the past and make it look, sound and taste and smell a lot better than what it actually was, those people are going to be disappointed. So if you're going to worship the past, if you're going to worship your childhood and not embrace the present and the future, then you're going to be disappointed, left out, isolated, and bitter and twisted is what we're saying. So learn to say, out with the old and in with the new. But when we're saying out with the old and in with the new, I'm not in any way suggesting that we get rid of our values, our beliefs, especially our Christian and our spiritual beliefs. We need to keep those, and we need to use those as a basis, and then to enable us to change everything else. Everything else that's got to do with technology, everything else which has got to do with ways that we learn, ways that we engage, and ways that we see the world will change. But we need to look at those things, look at the new world through the prism of our value set and our belief set and our organising principles. We must never forget that there are certain things which are timeless, and we are the link that will link previous generations to future generations. Anyway, I think that I've finished this version of today's book club, and I thank you for joining me on Jim's 5am Club. And let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I'm absolutely great. I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable, and most importantly, let's take some lessons from this wonderful book called The Third Wave by Steve Case, and understand and embrace and welcome the third wave that is already here. It's not coming, it's already here. So you need to, as we said before, get connected, become a participant on Facebook, become a participant on Instagram, become a participant, an active participant in social media, because this is the foundation. This is the foundation and the very essence of our future. And as I said before, be very, very wary of disconnecting or playing a spectator role, because if you get too disconnected and too far removed from the beautiful connecting technologies of today, then you're going to be lost and basically swept away with an inability to swim against the current, because changes happen quickly. And just like I do my 5am clubs, if you want to keep up with me, with my 5am clubs, then you need to be prepared to watch, listen and engage for 4 or 5 times a day, because technology is an enabler, and it is enabling me, as an example, to become a most prolific generator of vlogs and information, and I guess it's just a sign of the times. If I, a very, very simple person, can become the most prolific producer of content that you've ever known in your life, then just think what is going to happen once your children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren embrace these technologies, embrace the connectivity, embrace the availability, the instant availability of information, of relevant information, to make you a centerpiece or make you a key contributor to a group of people who are like-minded, then it just goes to show how powerful, how absolutely powerful this technology is, and how it's transforming our present and our future worlds. So take care, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me on Jim's 5am Club from this beautiful location in my most beautiful city of Sydney. And I look forward to coming to you again tomorrow from a different location with a different message, a message of empowerment and something that we can share, something that we can live, learn and pass on. Take care. Filakya to everybody, and we'll chat again. Bye for now.